Good evening, fellow Lopes. My name is Troy Wethy. I am here to preside a seminar to give you some information about LinkedIn. Just to give you a little background about myself, I have been involved in the career field for over 20 years. I hold a Master's of Science in Counseling Psychology from Purdue University, also a Master's in Industrial Organizational from Grand Canyon University, and an HR Management Certificate from IUPUI. I've had an opportunity to work in a lot of different elements, both college and corporate, in addition to working with people that are nonprofit and disabled. And I primarily, my role at GCU is to help both traditional and non-traditional students with finding their purpose and finding a great opportunity to make sure that they are doing their best with their resumes, cover letters, interviewing skills, and job search techniques. So what I'd like to start out with a little bit today is to talk about LinkedIn. So the key thing with LinkedIn is this platform where most people can find their opportunities. It's a great way to network with people. It is a great way to connect, to learn, and to message. This is something that I learn about every day. I just had a student that I worked with a little bit ago. And what was nice about this student is they'd actually been on LinkedIn, they'd actually applied for a job, and someone on LinkedIn reached out to them and offered them insight on their resume, which was really nice. And then we met, looked over it, and we were able to find some things that if they would have changed these things, would give them a better opportunity in the future. And that's something we did. We made some changes, and we're going to have them reapply for some of these similar jobs, but with a new resume. So LinkedIn is really the opportunity that you can get out there to connect with people. Accordingly, most jobs that are presented, there's only about 20% that you're going to find through the typical job search sites. And from that job search site, you have to realize there are hundreds, maybe even thousands of competitors and other people applying for those same jobs. So if we use LinkedIn the right way, it's an opportunity for networking, for connecting, for collaborating, and finding opportunities to assist you in the future. One of the nice things about this is that everybody you network with on LinkedIn is potentially your own personal job recruiter. So when we look at LinkedIn, one of the things about it that's nice is it is a electronic or a virtual visual version of your resume and your career. So it's a great opportunity for you to present, and you're not just going typically to one company or one job, but it is presented there to anybody that's out there. So 80, 90% of the recruiters really use LinkedIn to find people for jobs, whether these people currently have work or are looking. So a lot of times these recruiters will look and see, I like what you're doing. I like your profile. I like what I see. Would you be willing to work for us? So it's a constant recruiter for you. So I strongly recommend that you work on your LinkedIn and that you make this a priority that you do check every day. Again, another nice thing about this is you can find out information about your field, about the companies. It's a way to get more professional information, and it's a way for you to brand yourself. And it's also something that's great that obviously messaging is important, and putting out your own articles out there is great, but even just watching and reading other people's and connecting with them can be a great opportunity for you. So why is LinkedIn important, and what do you want to put on it? So keep in mind, it's really important to put a professional photo on. You want people to know who you are and what you look like, and you want to do this in a professional manner. So make sure that you are doing this so that you find out what is the best image for you. What kind of image are you trying to present to other people? And so that's a really important thing for you. Get this done professionally if you can, or have a good friend do a professional size pic of you. We generally recommend not being too spirited or using pictures and venture and things like that. That's something that's more situated for Facebook and other websites. Try to make it look like this is how you would see me in a job every day. A lot of the things that are key for this is you want to mimic your resume. So a lot of the same things that you have on your resume, you're going to have on LinkedIn. The difference is in LinkedIn, you can put in your personal pronouns and you can create your own story, and it seems more personal. Next thing you want to keep in mind is it's similar to a resume. You have your summary. So when you're posting things in the beginning, it's not what you're currently doing. It's not stating that you're a student at GCU. It's talking about what you're wanting to do for the future, and make sure people get that identification. Your experience is experience. It does not have to be paid experience. It can be community experience. It can be work experience. It can be student experience, and it can be project experience. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. The experiences that you put on there are designed to give an image of who you are and show that you match and fit the expectations for the jobs that you're looking for. Volunteer work is a great one. You can put that separately on there, talk about the different organizations you're working for. If you're really targeting a specific company, I would look into what organizations are they involved with, get involved in those organizations. Not only does it look good on your profile, but you may meet people and be able to network and connect with people that are working in those companies. Next section, obviously, we have is education. And why is this important? Because we want to show them what skills and knowledge you have and what proficiencies of the things you're learning of. It's also important, particularly if you're doing a career change or a transition. If you're going into a field that you haven't done before, it's your education now that shows you can match their experiences and skills and the qualities that they're looking for. So you want to exemplify those. And so I always encourage you, resumes and LinkedIn, add some of the key coursework that is important for that field. So how you do this is look at the courses you're taking and have taken and see how those relate to the job field you're looking to go into and make sure you put those on. Skills, keep in mind this might be a lot of transferable or functional skills relating to leadership and organization and project management and communication, skills that are essential for all jobs, but particularly specifics that might be important for that specific job you're looking for. These skills may have been gained in school, on projects, work, other jobs you've had, church, nonprofits, whatever it is. Those are important things to put down. Obviously, honors, certifications, these are things you can get through LinkedIn and through other sites and groups that you involved in. Sorry. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is that profile picture. Now, it's a really important thing to make sure this looks good and make sure that it is something that you get other people's opinion. Do it, take the picture, let some other people look at it, see what they think, get that profile. This is something that you can also use on LinkedIn and get other people's opinion on. Keep the background simple, good quality lighting, smile, dress appropriately. And there are certain programs, if you look online, Elements, Pixabay, and Pexels, where you can kind of adjust and format the picture so it looks better, highlighting certain things, taking things off. It's almost kind of like a editing software for the picture. So there's also an opportunity if you have a unique name and people aren't sure how to pronounce it, you can do name pronunciation with your name. So when they go on there, they can click on that and it's you talking and saying your name appropriately. And then one thing to keep in mind is what is your profile going to say? You can put the profiles open. Is this open to all job seeking preferences? Is this open just to recruiters? Is it open for anyone can see you? That is going to be something important for you to know based on if you're looking for a job and you're currently working. Do you want to have that open? Do you want people that are your employers to know you're looking for a job? So those are questions you want to know. So make sure you decide what are you most comfortable with. Okay, our summary. This is a really important thing. This is your sales pitch. This is important for you to gain the attention of those looking at it. And as I said, most of the people that are going to see this are people in your field, could be friends, alumni, and likely recruiters. So think of a couple different qualities that you have, and you've identified these from your own experiences. Other people have stated these things about you, but you've also looked at what are the qualities required to be successful in a particular field or job title. Make sure you have those listed there. This is a matching system, just like an ATS scanning system for resumes. We'll search for key qualities and experiences. On LinkedIn, you want to make these noticeable. Now think about this. What are your 3 most powerful selling points, characteristics, qualities, experience, or academics that stand out? Make sure those are put there. Highlight these things and make sure when you think about what you're going to write on a resume or LinkedIn, the key quality is not what you think, it's what you can do for the recruiter or the employer. Think about what you can do for him. I still see far too many resumes where it says, I'm looking for a great opportunity to expand my interests, to use my skills. It should be about what you can do for that company. So think of this from a business perspective. It's almost like, what is your business plan? How can I go into that company? View yourself as a consultant, and that's going to help you be more successful. Experience section. Well, this is a key part here. What's most important when you put experience for your jobs is not exactly what you did for that job, but it is how does that relate to the job you want to do. Generally, most jobs relate to information and data, hands-on experiences, communication, management. If you're looking for a job and it talks about management and leadership, maybe your job wasn't as a director or a manager, but talk in those job descriptions about the things you've led and the things you've managed and the things you've been responsible for. It gives them perspective that you have those skills. That would be much better than putting things down there that maybe you're really good at, but are completely unrelated to that job. Some things to keep in mind. Now, your professional headline underneath your picture. I see too often people just put what they've done in the past or what they're currently doing and not putting out what they want to do. So remember, if you put down your job title there or just put down student, how are people going to know what you really want? But if you put the job or the career or the field you're wanting to be involved in, that is more clear, that's going to be more noticeable, and that's going to give you more opportunities for recruiters to reach out to you. Skills and endorsements. This is a really important one. This requires a little initiative, a little entrepreneurial spirit. Ask people that you've worked with, that are colleagues, present and past, people that are managers, current and past. Ask if they will endorse you. That doesn't mean they think you're going to leave, but ask, hey, I have a LinkedIn profile. Would you be willing to endorse me on certain skills? These things can be based on conversations you've had with managers and colleagues. They can also be based on performance reviews and other things such as that. Keep in mind, this is a really important thing because this gives them the line to understand what you are looking for. This is your self-sales speech. This is the way you identify yourself and what you can do for others. Also, keep in mind, it's really important to be involved with groups. Many of these can be tied into alumni. So I always encourage people when you're looking at companies, click under the company, click under people, click on GCU and see about people that are working there. This is a great opportunity for you to connect with them because you have the affiliation. It's also an opportunity for message them and ask, what do you like about working there? I'm a student, I'm looking for opportunities. I'm in this particular field. Do you have any recommendations? Things like that that connect you. Look at other things that you may have in common with people that you see there, use those. And then the big one is we call it the Lions Club. It's a LinkedIn open networkers. So if you look at that, it's a way for you to get more than just one. You can get several different people all at once connected to a part of your team. And when you get more followers, a part of that team, you get a higher level of people that will notify you. And some people set their LinkedIn profiles that they only will notice people that are above 100 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 because they've already been in it enough and they want to focus on more people that can help them that have a higher level of networkers and connections and people on their team. Also keep in mind, think about influence. People that are out there that you admire for a particular field or a particular skill or something like that. If you connect with them, you have an opportunity then to follow them, see what's going on in your field, and see what other people are in the same kind of mode as you. What are similar people that find these influencers interesting? You're able to click on them and say, hey, they work at this company, they have this title, this is things they do. Now you have an opportunity to look out and reach out to them to find out information about the company, the industry, the job, and potentially if there's an opportunity for you there in the future. Again, keep in mind, it's really important to be active and to check your LinkedIn every day. This should be something that you start, block off some time with you, whether it's in the morning or it's at lunch or it's evening, that you're just going to check to see if any messages, take a little browsing around there, see if you can make some connections. And definitely one of the things we've noticed the most, if you create something, a certain amount of people will notice that you're on there. But if you message people and you comment on other people's content, you're going to get even more messengers. So that's a great way for you to make more connections, particularly if they follow you. Things to keep in mind when you're looking at LinkedIn. Look at the profile preferences, look at some of the articles that might be important for you. Make sure that you set these preferences for specific jobs. You can save those jobs. You can put them in for a certain amount of income that you need to make, a certain location, industry, how far away from you. Create alerts so that if somebody reaches out to you and messages you or connects with you, you get alert on your phone, you get an email, and that way you don't miss things. Because the worst thing that can happen is you find a great opportunity, somebody reaches out to you, you don't have those alerts set, you don't check your LinkedIn more than once a couple of days, and then you miss those opportunities. Can people connect? They really want that immediate gratification of seeing you connect back. And then obviously, LinkedIn is one opportunity for looking at jobs. There are many other websites. The nice thing about LinkedIn is the networking, the connections, the messaging, and all the professional development articles that are out there for you. Also, we have the home section in there with this an opportunity for you to connect on a lot of similar things. So you're notified when there's an article or where there's somebody reaching out regarding certain things that you are also connected with. And then, as I said before, you have to decide what your mode is. Is it private? Is it public? Is it only there for recruiters? You want to make sure that you're comfortable with who is viewing your profile. Okay, so one of the real techniques that's really essential to use LinkedIn is not to just use it as a typical job site. A lot of people, they go on, they click, oh, that's a job, and they click send. And they're sending with lots of different people. Oftentimes, some of this information, you don't know where it's going. So keep in mind, you can look and find things on LinkedIn just as you can on other websites. But then what you want to do is, what is this company? Click on the company, do some research on the LinkedIn of that company, find out what you like, you dislike, learn about that company. Then what you can do is you punch in keywords, city, state to find out what those job opportunities are. But instead of applying directly there, look on the people section there. Click on the people section. You can do that with things such as recruiters, talent acquisition specialists, HR, different tones like that to see who's in charge of choosing these jobs. You can message them. You can go directly to them and skip going through the company website. You can also take the job title of the job that you'd like, punch that in underneath that company, and see who's employed in there and click on them. Find out what is their background, what is their skills, what are their experiences and careers and education and training, things like that, to see, is this something that I'm similar to? Or maybe based on that, you can then do what I call kind of an occupational interview, message these different people, ask about the company, what they like about working there, how long they've been there, what they've learned, what skills they think help them there, what background, how did they get hired, things like this, and ask them to respond back to you. You're not asking directly for a job, but generally through this, it may come up and you say, well, I'm currently a student, but I'm trying to learn more about the field, the industry, and your company. And maybe in the future, you may reach out to them to see if there's opportunities for you. In the meantime, you've made a good connection. These people will keep an eye out for you. And at some point, you can say, hey, would you be willing to look at my resume and keep it on file there in case you think something comes there that might be a good fit for me? Really appreciate it. Make sure you show that gratitude. And there's a great opportunity. This is somebody that now can be a kind of a silent recruiter for you. Okay. LinkedIn also has a lot of learning certifications. And what's important about this is the more you research what the job in the field you're going into is, and you see what other people have for education and learning certificates, and you see what the job titles are looking for, they want you to be an expert in a specific computer program or know certain things. This is a way for you to get that and add that to your resume so it's noticed by doing it through LinkedIn. So that's a great way to do some additional professional development for some unique skill sets that maybe you can't get just with a particular degree, but it's a specific program that you just to be aware of or knowledgeable of. Couple things on the LinkedIn do's. Definitely do a professional photo. That's the best way you can do it. If you have somebody who's comfortable taking photos and you can use those other websites to kind of edit them, I think that's also a really good choice. Make sure your profile is filled out completely. Ideally, you want this to be an all-star profile. As they stated, a great profile is the best thing you can do, but a bad profile is one of the worst things you do. So it's best to have it filled out complete and other people viewed it, or not have it active at the time until you get it to up to that quality level. Because if people see it and it's not very good, they can assume that maybe that's the type of work you do. So we don't want to get them any false impressions. Key thing is connect with people. Send messages out there, ask questions, provide information that you may have found through your research about a particular field or things in an industry that you might find these people would be interested in. Definitely comment and definitely respond to articles and other things that other people put out there because it gets you more noticed. Make sure that this is a living profile. It's not something you just put in and you don't change it. You may change it on a regular basis based on things you learn from your research, from connecting with other people, and knowledge you acquire through school. Important, request endorsements. It's great to say you're great at something, but it's even better if you have endorsements, particularly if you have a few of them and they have good titles. It gives credence and almost vets you for that particular job. And also, do not keep LinkedIn just on your computer so you only see it when you're working or you only see it on your computer. Download the app so that you have access to it at any time. And if something comes up and you need to communicate with somebody or send a resume in or connect for networking purposes, you have it and it's with you right away. Some of the things not to do: try to be somewhat selective on who you connect with. They should be related to your networking connections, alumni, major professional and student organizations that you're involved in, the fields, the industries, and the careers that are related to you. Don't just add people that are at random, that maybe particularly aren't friends or people that could look out for you just to get the numbers, because you want this to be targeted. Don't directly ask people for jobs. There's a subtle way to do it after you've had a few conversations with somebody by phone or by messenger or by email. Eventually you get to the point that you say, hey, your company sounds great. I really like what you do. Could you have my resume and could you share it with somebody, see if there's something in the future that comes out? But that's a little less aggressive than saying, can you get me hired? Also keep in mind, this is just one of the job searching tools. If I had to pick any, this is the one that I would choose. But you want to take an approach where you're looking at a lot of different things. You may do searches from other websites. You use LinkedIn. You connect with people that you know. You email, you phone call. These are all ways to improve your search. But again, this is one approach. Again, also, you don't want to be shy in these. You want to be integral and say the truth. But you want to promote if you're doing great at something, or if you've been given recommendations, if people acknowledge you for what you've done in your field or outside the field in other activities in your life. You're great at doing this. I really appreciate this. These are things to put in your LinkedIn. If you're not stating that you're good at something and you're just being quiet, those are the people that oftentimes may get passed over. So make sure you brag a little bit, but also have other people look at it and see how that comes off to them. So make sure it's not being too arrogant. Again, LinkedIn is not Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, any of those different things. Treat this as professional. Look at what you're stating. Look at how you're stating it. Make sure you get things reviewed if you need to, and make sure that this is an online virtual example of your work and your professionalism. One thing I would recommend, if you go on there is a LinkedIn social selling index. Gives you a score from 0 to 100. It is broken down into 4 main parts. And this is kind of more from a business and sales perspective. People will look and give you a rating of what your brand is. And your brand is you, the right people, how you're connecting with and stuff like that, how much you are engaging with other people with both questions and messages, and also putting out your own information, and also the relationships you're developing. This can kind of give you an idea of how well you're using LinkedIn and give you suggestions for maybe you should spend more time here or more time there. So it's a nice way to kind of just give an evaluation of these things. That is, the nice part is nobody will know who's presenting on this and how they're putting this together. So it's something that's neutral, and that you don't get offended if people say you need to do this or need to do that. And from there, hopefully we can help you in whatever aspect of your career you're looking for. Again, LinkedIn is one part. We do seminars on resume development, interviewing techniques. We also do things on how to be more effective in the job search by putting your marketing plan together. So those are some of the things that we can assist you. Again, thank you very much for attending, and Lopes up.